as a teacher, I've had to deal with um, uh, technology and, making and editing little videos and so on at different times of my career. Oh my gosh, the technology and putting it all together and, everything that happens around it. Like, is this a different insurance that I need? Is this So I've had to call in people to help me,
Yeah.
obviously, because it was too big, way too big a task for me
Yeah.
to manage. And although I've done a lot of the footage, I've got educators working on lovely little videos, and we know that learners can only manage like 3-minute videos. If it's
Yeah.
longer than 3 minutes, it's too much. So I've
Yes.
had to break it down, all the little aspects of the driving process and what they need to do to be safe. I've had to break it down and make it a very, very logical sequence, so that they can take that on board.
Yeah. And that's really interesting point though, that you mentioned around it becoming kind of bigger than you expected and having to call
Mm.
in the experts. I think that's really interesting. A lot of times as business owners, we just think we're solving a problem. We just know that we have the expertise to solve a problem. And you know what? There could be a business model that we can wrap around that, which is always good. But you're right. Sometimes it does get a little out of control. And depending on what industry you're in, you do need to leverage people that are in your network or outside of your network
Yep.
to bring that expertise in and make sure that you're doing everything the right way. And that
Yeah.
extends not only from the business you're in, but business in general, right? Like not all of us
Mm.
are accountants or lawyers or anything and know any of that side. So, bringing in experts, I think whilst maybe we don't expect it in the beginning, I actually think that that is one of the, important parts of business is to understand where your gaps are and bring in
Yes.
people that can help.
Absolutely. And there were plenty of gaps. There were
Always
plenty of
are
gaps.
though.
Yeah, I've got my expertise, and I just, I was juggling so many things, and I'm happy to use. I know what my strengths are. I'm happy to use
Mhm.
my strengths, and I was then very happy to bring other people on. And I guess the other challenge of that is that it's completely self-funded.
Yeah.
That has been, a massive drain because this has
Mm.
not been a cheap process by any means. And there's lots of things that I didn't necessarily foresee, but it felt like a baby that needed to be born. And
Yeah.
I was willing to do whatever it took to make sure that it reached the people that I believe that it will be very helpful to.
Mm.
Yeah. And the
Yeah.
industry, I've taken it to industry, I've taken it, run it with students, and they're certainly on board and see the benefit to themselves. So, yeah,
Well, and
let's hope
that's
I can make a difference.
yeah, and it's interesting that validation of the industry and
Mm.
learners and potential future customers essentially kind of makes you feel a little bit better about spending the money when you are self-funding it.
Yes, yeah, absolutely, yeah. And at the end of the day, if something that I've done, like I'm nearly 60, I'm in my 40th year in the industry. If I've done something that at the end of the day will ensure that someone lives, as a result of
Mm.
putting what they've learned in the training, because they're not only, it's all of the tips and tricks for the supervisors. So my first, I'm marketing to supervisors and parents first up, because if they can use that 75 to 120 hours in real learning that is
Mm.
going to provide them with a system for safe driving, then I know that those young people are going to go on, or anyone who takes it on, are going to go on to be safer drivers. Because we know you know a safe driver. Everyone likes to think that they drive really well, and they'll tell you they drive really well. Then they'll tell you they had a near miss. It was a
Mm.
near miss, and that person, and it's always somebody else's fault. And as
Mm.
I say to my learner drivers, good driver, they don't have near misses. because they're using a system to
Mm,
ensure that they're always at the right place, at the right speed, and
mm,
to navigate every single hazard. And we are only ever as good as our last decision,
yeah.
right?
Wow,
That's only,
that seems like a metaphor for life as well.
yes, exactly.